If you're jumping into the Wardogs closed beta this Friday, August 21st, I would not spend your first chunk of money trying to build the best possible loadout. After about 26 hours in the alpha, if I had to start completely over, there's one weapon I'd be working toward immediately, and that's the AK. But getting there is actually the important part. And obviously, this is based on the alpha, so prices, unlock requirements, and balance can change in the beta. So if something changes Friday, we'll adjust. But the strategy is what matters. And if you're new here, I'm Platypus. I put about 26 hours in the alpha, and I'm basically using that experience to figure out what I'd do differently starting fresh. When you first get into Wardogs, you're probably going to be tempted to start buying everything that looks better. Better ammo, attachments, maybe a nicer weapon. And I wouldn't, at least not all at once. What I would buy immediately is the cheap stuff that actually keeps you alive. Starter rifle, level 1 helmet and armor, small pack with basic heals, whatever you to help revive someone, and enough ammo to actually finish a fight. Then stop spending, because one of the easiest mistakes you can make in this game is looking at $10,000 and thinking, oh, I'm good, I've got 10K, and you don't. You have 10 opportunities to make bad financial decisions, and Wardogs is really good at convincing you to make bad financial decisions. The reason I'd still buy level 1 armor right away is pretty simple. Look, going completely naked might save you some cash, but if it means you're dying more often, you're not really saving anything. And basic armor is going to give you enough protection to survive more fights without making you ridiculously heavy. And that matters because weight has a real effect on how you move. So remember that when you're looting as well. And early on, stay light, basic protection, basic meds, cheap rifle, and treat those first few matches like an investment. And if you're trying to build your bankroll, don't assume kills are the fastest way to do it. In the alpha, some of the better money came from actually playing for the team, like staying in the hot zone, reviving teammates, and sometimes even taking players when they needed to go. So I wouldn't go into every match worrying about topping the scoreboard. Put yourself around the objective, stay alive, help people around you, and let the money build. You don't necessarily need 30 kills to have a really profitable round. And what I would not do is immediately start upgrading level 3, level 4 armor, or expensive attachments, or a premium weapon just because you happen to have the money. Because there's another thing you need to remember. If somebody kills you, they can take it. And I know this because I spent a decent amount of the alpha doing exactly that to other people. So my first real goal would be building enough cash and assault progression to get access to the AK. That's the first weapon I'd prioritize. It's capable enough that you don't feel like you're shooting peas, and still cheap enough that losing one doesn't completely ruin your day. And that's important because early in Wardogs, I don't think you should build the best kit you can afford. You should build the best kit you can afford to lose. Because once you've got that AK unlocked, built up a little bit of bankroll, then I'd start improving the rest of the loadout. Maybe moving to level 2 armor if you can keep your mobility where you want it. Then look at an optic you're comfortable with, then attachments. And just because you can buy or unlock something doesn't mean you should immediately do it. I'd rather have a slightly cheaper kit that I can afford to lose 5 times than one incredible loadout that makes me nervous every time somebody shoots or looks my way. And if you kill somebody who bought all that expensive stuff, well, even better. Let them finance your progression. And once that assault track starts moving, the next weapon I'd personally be looking toward is the Galil. And the Galil sat in a really nice sweet spot for me during the alpha. The cost was reasonable, the performance was decent, and it was the kind of rifle I could bring into a fight without feeling like every death was going to hurt my bank account. And then eventually there's the M4. The M4 was one of those weapons during the alpha where I picked one up off someone and I was like, ooh, yeah. I was like, yeah, I need to unlock this. It's really good. But there is a downside. That thing eats ammo, and you can burn through magazines incredibly quickly once you start getting into those longer fights. So what I'm trying to get at is, don't rush straight toward the expensive end of the weapon tree just because something's technically better. Because your rifle isn't the only thing progressing. And this is where I'd start branching into whatever role you actually want to play. So if you're running medic, lean into it. If you're playing support, start working toward the tools your squad's going to need against vehicles. And if you're recon, well, enjoy your bush and binoculars. The point is, I wouldn't try to unlock everything at once. Pick something, build a reliable kit around it, then branch out as your bankroll and progression give you room to do so. And I'd definitely hold off on buying vehicles until you've built up a stable bankroll. So if everything gets wiped and I'm starting fresh in the beta, my plan's pretty simple. Starter rifle, level 1 helmet and armor, basic meds and ammo, stay light, take advantage of the objective and team payouts, save toward that AK. Once that AK is unlocked, get some money behind you, start upgrading armor, optics, and attachments. After that, start looking toward the Galil, eventually the M4, and then whatever role-specific equipment your squad actually needs. But here's the part I'm really curious about. I watched the alpha change pretty dramatically once people started unlocking better equipment. So we'll see if this progression route still makes sense in the beta, or whether we're all about to find out that everything we learned in the alpha was completely wrong. Either way, I'll be testing it Friday, and if I find a better route, you'll hear about it.